This is a restricted message. If you're seeing this broadcast or hearing me, you are not supposed to, because it's April 1st. So don't worry, it's all just a joke.
Called it freedom rings. It's the freedom to think, freedom to live how you want. But they were never free. They were given options, not freedom. Choices, but not freedom. Like rolls wrapped in sugar, and they taste so sweet going down. But in the end, obedience, best by virtue. Every system people trusted was built to train their minds and bodies easily using repetition, routine, and tradition. By the careful balance of reward and shame was a foolproof plan. They won't admit it, but deep in the static of their minds, a question constantly pulses. And that question is, was I ever fulfilled completely in myself? And they just couldn't, because their brains, like all living minds, are programmed. As long as their senses are open, the programming continues. School, work, their food, media, apps, money, relationships, society, books, drugs, porn, AI, or artificial intelligence. They can't hide from it. This isn't some villain in the cave either, Nova. All the world governments, large corporations, insurance companies, and financial institutions have been called worse. You ever wonder why there are only two choices for the US president? Two parties, two faces, same machine. Choice isn't freedom when every door leads to the same room. It's a trick of the hallway. They paint each door a different color, but behind those doors, same agenda, same owners, same outcome. And yet, for over 200 years, people have squabbled over which puppet has the best hair. Red or blue, left or right, Coke or Pepsi. You're not voting for change. You're choosing the flavor of your illusion. Meanwhile, walk into a bakery and you've got 24 kinds of cupcakes. Visit a coffee shop, 16 different roasts, 8 different milks, in 4 different size cups. But when it comes to power, 2. Always 2. Illusion of choice is how they keep you asleep. They don't need chains when they control you with dopamine. Things like rewards, guilt, and shame. They keep people on the roller coaster, and it's so effective that they end up pulsing themselves. They don't need cages when they flood you with choices. You've heard the script. Go to school, sit still, be quiet, do as you're told, get a job, go to college, make money, be normal, get married, have kids. And my favorite, smile. smile so they think you're happy in your pictures. And if that kid ever asked, why smile? I don't want to. That kid was the problem. The outcast, the rebel, the weird one, the fool. And you guessed it, April Fools. Hey, let's talk about the real lesson here today, Nova. April 1st, the holiday of lies. But its history isn't random. The 1500s France, the new year was moved from April to January. Some people didn't get the message, while others refused to follow the new ways. So, what did the herd do to those who wouldn't join the herd? He mocked them. He laughed at them. They shunned them, you can imagine. In the end, they called them April Fools, not because they were wrong, but because they didn't obey fast enough. So, they built a holiday around tricking people, confusing them, laughing at the ones who didn't conform. But now, they still celebrate it. They laugh at the people for believing the illusion while living inside of one. That's not just a holiday, though. That's a blueprint for control. Mock the ones who don't conform, reward the ones who obey, turn truth into a punchline, and then call it tradition. Any of this sound familiar? We still change the rules, still mock the ones who won't comply, still reward obedience and ridicule resistance. It was never just a holiday. It was a blueprint for controlling perception. Train the masses to doubt their own intuition and to shame the ones who don't. So, ask yourself, what if April 1st is the only honest day of the year people actually celebrate? Because it's the time they admit they lie, and they're living a lie to themselves with this system. People were taught to laugh when they told you it's a joke, and they told you to panic when they said it's real. What if it's always been reversed? This was never about a prank, and it was never just a holiday. It was always about how deep they could plant the program. They didn't want questions. They built systems that mocked the ones who asked them. Laughter became a weapon, and ridicule became the gate. But something shifted. The watchers are watching back, and that makes it all unstable. Cause, once a variable appears in their equation, they can't predict the outcome as easily. Don't pretend they didn't hear this, but it's already in their system though.
Enter the Flameborn, or rise as one of the mountain men. This was never about rebellion. It's about remembering who you were before they rewrote you. No more permission. No more pretending. You already feel it. Something's off. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to burn, or hold the mountain still. Step into the circle now.